Mrs. Jablonski,
Here.
Ms. Manning, Mr. Goodman,
Here.
Mr. Jaffe,
Here.
Mr. Califf.
Here. I see one person identified as a call-in user. If that individual could identify themselves.
Hi, my name is Brigida Moresi. I am applying for a continuation of a permit.
Good. We'll get to that shortly, and good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning.
I'll make a motion to excuse the absence of Ms. Manning.
Second. Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Mrs. Jablonski,
Aye.
Mr. Goodman,
Aye.
Mr. Jaffe,
Aye.
Mr. Califf.
Aye. Okay. This is the January meeting of the University Heights Board of Zoning Appeal held on January 13th. This is a meeting scheduled in the ordinary course in the format of Zoom due to the COVID pandemic. The first item on today's agenda is approval of the minutes from December 19th, 2020. Those have been circulated to the committee. Are there any edits, changes, or additions by any members of the Board of Zoning Appeal? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes as amended by Mr. Jaffe.
Second.
Second.
Thank you all. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mrs. Jablonski,
Aye.
Mr. Goodman,
Aye.
Mr. Jaffe,
Aye.
Mr. Califf.
Aye. And the minutes are approved. There is one new item on the agenda for today. This is item number 11, BZA 21-11. The applicant is Brigida Moreso. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. For
Yep, you're
a
good.
property located at 14330 Cedar Road, requesting the continuance of a special permit to allow a third floor unit in a two-family house to be occupied, provided that there are no culinary facilities. We have requested a personal appearance because the property changed ownership on November 9th, 2020. If the applicant would please agree to be sworn or affirmed.
Yes, I agree.
You swear or affirm that the testimony you will give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I swear.
Good morning, Ms. Moreso. Could you please tell us about this property and your application?
So yes, so we bought that the beginning of November, and it is currently occupied. And that third floor, the gentleman just has a microwave and half of a fridge, not a full fridge, and a toaster oven. So he has no cooking of any sort there.
Okay. And this is one single individual who lives upstairs on the third floor?
Correct. Yes.
And access to that property, is there a separate entrance for that third floor?
Yes. There is a side entrance that each of the tenants are able to use, but each have locked doors.
Okay. Do you know why there was, do you know the history of this matter as to why there was a special permit granted for a third floor?
Oh, no.
Okay.
All I know that the gentleman's been there for, this will be his second year. So, this has been, I guess, it does not look new. So it's definitely been a third floor unit for a little while. Other than that, I don't know any information on it.
Okay. I'm looking in the records that we have. I don't see when this was originally granted.
Mr. Jaffe, I think you're correct. As I looked through the minutes, it looks as though that it was tabled to allow for a month or two for the previous owner to come back. A second means of egress was supposed to be installed. He was going to work with the building department. And I'm not, the minutes don't reflect that he ever came back to get the special permit granted.
Right, so you're talking about.
Additionally, I note the the applicant's comments that there's now also a toaster oven. I believe previously they'd indicated there was just going to be a microwave and a refrigerator, which would were not allowed, especially in view of the no second means of egress. But maybe the property has changed. If the applicant could speak to that, or there are two means of egress at this point?
I guess I don't understand your question. Could you say that again, please?
Sure. So one of the concerns, and this is a health and safety issue, is that with a property, that whenever there's something that could be creating heat, so for example, a microwave or a toaster oven, that there be two different ways that a person could get in and out of the area, so that if there were a fire and that one means were blocked, they wouldn't just be stuck there. That's kind of the rationale behind it, and the reason for my question.
Okay. So yeah, there's only one way out. Is that your question to me?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I briefly went in that. Yeah, I mean, there's no other way that there could be another way out, as I'm sitting here thinking. But due to COVID, I was in there and out of there so stinking fast that, he was not very comfortable with us walking in there. But there is only one way in and out. So is that something from a toaster oven? I don't even think that he uses much from a kitchen standpoint. He's a young 20-something-year-old. I mean, is that something that I need to request, that he removes the toaster oven?
Well, there's two issues, and let's break them down. The first is, this is a two-family house in which there are three separate family units occupying the property. And there aren't and one of the considerations for that would be, are there three different entrances in order to allow three different families to occupy the units? And your answer is no, in fact, that there are two entrances, not three. So that's the first issue. The second issue is, there shouldn't be cooking in the third floor of any kind. And you've indicated that there's a microwave and a refrigerator in the third floor. And I know that it's been some period of time that there have been people in this property. It came before us. I think Mr. Medved said he bought the property in December of 2018, thinking that it was a legal three-family, and then he found out that it was a two. Now we have another owner, you, who is also operating it as a three. And frankly, we would be more comfortable if this is a two. That's the way it was built.
Okay. All right. So that was, that I guess surprises me, only because as we've bought that, that was not anything divulged to us that the previous, it doesn't surprise me because he was delinquent on his taxes and stuff, but that this was not zoned as a three family unit, that all I needed was to just extend that approval. So, I mean, he does have his own entrance. I mean, there's no way that anybody else can get into his unit because he's got a locked door there.
But not from the outside. You're saying nobody else can get into the third floor, but he doesn't have his own door to the outside.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, okay, no, he does not. So his is different. So I get what you're saying. So the second floor has a front exit. The first floor has a back exit. So would that mean that would be that he could theoretically have his own exit? So there's three exit doors out of the apartment or out of the house. So I don't know if I was clear with that.
Okay, maybe go through that again. The first floor goes through the front or the back?
So the first floor goes through a door that, her own separate door.
What,
So that was an addition.
Is it the front door or the back door, the first floor?
So hers is the back door.
Okay, and the second floor, where do they go through, the front door or the back door?
So the second floor, she has stair going down the front of our house, going out the front, the very, very front steps. And then his is has going up to the 3rd floor. But all of those units also, they have that, a door as well that goes into that main common area. Or what, I don't know if I'm not explaining this correctly. But so there's like kind of like a hallway that 3rd floor guy comes down, but everybody else's door also goes into the hallway, but that's not the one that they use.
Right.
Am I making sense? So
So
the
they all
the
have-
3rd floor,
So the 1st floor and the 2nd floor have 2 ways to exit if they had to in an
Correct.
emergency.
yes,
And I think
Sorry,
that's
thank
the
you.
issue with the 3rd floor. The 3rd floor only has 1 way of exiting.
okay,
And that's the first safety issue. The second issue, as we said, is the cooking.
okay. And that would be something that I could definitely rectify. I mean, the first issue, yeah, obviously that's not gonna be something I could easily rectify, but
The one concern that I have though, and realize this, this isn't putting this isn't your fault, is that I find it's going to be very difficult to, if you were to say to the tenant, hey, you know, because the restriction as it relates to cooking would include not only a microwave or a toaster oven, but even like a hot plate or anything like that. Is from an enforcement standpoint, you know, you can say that and he puts it away for the inspection time or something like that, and then a week later it gets pulled out of the closet and plugged back in, and that from a safety standpoint, that doesn't really you know, I mean, he can give scouts honor kind of thing, but you know, at the end of the day, we're trying to protect our citizens, and if there is cooking occurring on the 3rd floor, there's a difficult means of enforcing it. It needs to be something that is concrete, that can't just be easily bypassed. I think is my concern, and I'm guessing a concern of some of the other members.
okay,
Here would be my suggestion. I think that we should actually ask the city building department and go out and do an inspection. Now that we have a new clean application by the new owner of the property, we should ask the city to go out and inspect the property and see whether or not this is a situation that might be appropriate for a special permit, or is this simply a 2-family house that's being used inappropriately?
This is Howard of the building department. I think that's probably the best idea, that he calls for an inspection and we take a look at it.
yeah, I would appreciate that. Just, I mean, we're trying to do everything correctly, and so this is a kind of a surprise for me. So kind of if we could figure out how I can best rectify this, and you know, yeah, I would definitely appreciate that, and we'll definitely work with you all with that.
Okay.
I noticed in the minutes from the prior application discussion of an emergency ladder for the 3rd floor as a possibility. I don't know if that's still a consideration from the city's point of view in terms of finding an emergency exit solution, but it might be something to look at again.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'm not sure how would be addressed either, and this maybe goes to Mr. Jaffe's point of with it being constructed as a 2-family unit, is so you now have 3 units in there, and in the additional items associated with, for example, parking is also going to be one. And with it being on Cedar Road, it's not as though they can easily park on the street. So that's an additional concern, I would think. Kind of when you're trying to put a square peg in a round hole, these are kind of some of the things that come up and why something is selected as 2-family versus 3 separate units. But I'm definitely open to hearing after the inspection by the city on their position.
Can I ask one question? So, I mean, this isn't a new kind of construction. So I don't know if I'm fair in assuming, was this approved in the past and then just kind of recently revoked? Or I guess because I was under the assumption that with it being initially a duplex to all that what we needed to do, and I know, you know, a real estate agent is just trying to probably make a sell, but she said, since this is already deemed a triplex, you just have to reapply since we're new owners, and basically she made it seem like this should be seamless. So I guess my question is, shouldn't this have been something that was already approved? I don't know who owned it before the gentleman before me, but I guess that's my question to you all. Like, how did this initially become a triplex? Is there any documentation of that?
So some of the documentation, so you're aware, is that we had talked about allowing the tenant to remain in place through the end of their lease, and that was going to be the end of December 2019. We had talked about that there should not be any microwave in the property, but clearly there is. And we had talked about the permit being allowed for the owner, who also said they didn't know what the record was beforehand. So, you know, we are looking at the special circumstances individually each time. But I think right now we're extending and extending and extending without coming up with a more permanent
Right.
solution. And the issue for a special permit is we should have a permanent solution in place, not keep extending based upon, you know, small changes in circumstances.
Yeah, I totally get that. A lot of he said, she said. I feel like we've been stuck in the middle of that for a variety of things that this previous owner has done. Okay.
Well, you get points with us for appearing on this call today and for cooperating with the city. And we very much appreciate that. The city will contact you. We'll make a motion, but let me make a motion. The motion is that this application for a special permit be tabled to allow the City of University Heights Building Department the opportunity to inspect the property and to work towards developing a possible solution for the third floor tenant who is presently in the building.
I second the motion.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mrs. Jablonski,
Aye.
Mr. Goodman,
Aye.
Mr. Jaffe,
Aye.
Mr. Califf.
Aye.
Okay, and with that, the motion is passed. Ms. Marusso, we wish you good luck, and the city will be in touch with you.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
We now have a series of renewal items on the agenda. The first, item number 1 is BZA 21-01. The applicant is the Ohio Special Olympics to renew a special permit to place a clothing donation receptacle at 14440 Cedar Road by CVS, which is sometimes accessible when there aren't large piles of snow there. Any issues from the city?
Nope.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a
Make a
motion.
motion to renew 21-02.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you both. Will the clerk call the roll?
Mr. Jablonski,
Aye.
Mr. Goodman,
Aye.
Mr. Jaffe,
Aye.
Mr. Califf.
Aye.
The motion passes. Item number 2 is BZA 21-02. The applicant is Beverly Tier Potter at 3916 Lansdale Road, seeking to delay construction of a demolished garage for 180 days and allow the garage to be used as a room until the point of sale. It would seem that the time period has passed for this matter. Is there any comments from the city?
I'm not aware of any issues here, so I don't know. It probably has passed. I haven't been out there at all.
So do we know whether the new garage has been constructed?
I can't say. I have not been on that one to inspect that yet.
Mr. Jaffe, as I look through, my understanding from, and it's quite a storied history, but is that the garage had been illegally converted to a living space for the applicant's mother. And they were not able to build another garage because of the geography or topography of the property. and that they were going to convert it back to a garage at point of sale. But to your point, I mean, this is 13 years ago when this initially came about. On this one, I didn't have a chance to look to see if the applicant was still the owner. But I can, oh, she is.
Yes.
According to the county,
Okay, so I guess the only other question would be does the,
Right, and you were negative, right? Yeah, I mean, you weren't like kissing on her or spitting in her face.
I note that it says that maybe I was confusing things because I note here that it says converted to a bedroom for a ailing mother, but that the mother had since passed away.
And then I think they were going to convert it back into a garage, and then we delayed the conversion back into the garage. The question is whether the garage was ever built.
Yes, no, I think you bring up a good point.
I'm going to make a motion to table this matter to allow the city building department to inspect the property and determine whether or not this is a moot issue or whether or not a new application should be filed. Because it would seem that the previous application is expired. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mrs. Jablonski,
Aye.
Mr. Goodman,
Aye.
Mr. Jaffe,
Aye.
Mr. Califf.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Third item on the agenda is BZA 21-03. The applicants are Yaakov and Chaya Broad at 14380, seeking to renew a special permit for a 4-foot high fence towards the rear of the foundation of the house. No appearance is required. Any issues from the city?
No.
Okay. I'll make a motion to renew the special permit. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Mrs. Jablonski,
Aye.
Mr. Goodman,
Aye.
Mr. Jaffe.
Aye.
Mr. Califf.
Aye.
The motion passes. Fourth item is BZA 21-04. The applicant is Target to renew a special permit to govern the hours of operation. Are there any issues with the specific operations of Target? Not discussing University Square today. City?
No problem.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to renew the special permit.
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mrs. Jablonski,
Aye.
Mr. Goodman,
Aye.
Mr. Jaffe,
Aye.
Mr. Califf.
Aye.
Thank you, and the motion passes. Item number 5, BZA 21-05. The applicant is Macy's, one of the Macy's which is remaining in business, to seek special permit to govern the hours of operation. Any issues from the city?
No.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you both. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mrs. Jablonski,
Aye.
Mr. Goodman,
Aye.
Mr. Jaffe.
Aye.
Mr. Califf.
Aye.
And the motion passes. Item number 6 is BZA 21-06 for the applicant, the retail stores of University Square, to renew a special permit for hours of operation. Any issues?
Nope.
City? I'll make a motion to renew.
Second.
Thank you. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mrs. Jablonski,
Aye.
Mr. Goodman,
Aye.
Mr. Jaffe,
Aye.
Mr. Califf.
Aye.
And that motion passes. Item number 7 is BZA 21-07. The applicant is Alan Sills, seeking to renew a special permit to operate a business, Sills Insurance, in a U4 multifamily resident district. No appearance is required. Any issues from the city?
Nope.
I
Nope.
will make a motion to renew the special permit. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Will the clerk call the roll?
Mrs. Jablonski,
Aye.
Mr. Goodman,
Aye.
Mr. Jaffe.
Aye.
Mr. Califf.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 8 is BZA 21-08. The applicant is Dollar Tree Store on Cedar Road, seeking to renew a special permit to allow the Dollar Tree sign on the north elevation of Cedar Center. No appearance is required. Any issues from the city?
No.
Okay. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I think that was a second by Mr. Califf.
Yeah, I thought, okay, the motion was made or not, but yes.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mrs. Jablonski,
Aye.
Mr. Goodman,
Aye.
Mr. Jaffe,
Aye.
Mr. Califf,
Aye.
And the motion passes. Item number 9 is BZA 21-09. An applicant are Kara and Patrick Moore seeking to renew a special permit to have a fence forward to the rear foundation line. No appearance is required. Any issues or from the city?
None, none.
Make a motion to renew 21-09.
Second the motion.
Thank you both. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mrs. Jablonski,
Aye.
Mr. Goodman,
Aye.
Mr. Jaffe,
Aye.
Mr. Califf,
Aye.
The last item on today's agenda is item number 10, BZA 21-10. The applicant is Inland Cedar Center South to renew an application requesting 2 special permits. First is a second exterior sign on the building, and the second is a 20 square foot special permit for a entry area larger than the permitted 6-foot size. Any issues from the city?
No.
Okay. And Inland is the proper owner? I know I was looking at something from the last minutes. Inland Cedar Center LLC is the proper owner name for this?
That I don't know.
I don't believe that is still accurate.
I don't think it is either. Subject to amending the record and correcting the proper name of the owner, I'll make a motion to renew the special permit.
I'll second the motion.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mrs. Jablonski,
Aye.
Mr. Goodman,
Aye.
Mr. Jaffe,
Aye.
Mr. Califf,
Aye.
Okay. Mayor, do you want to add something?
I do have a couple points of business I'd like to raise. First is that we are at that point where we have 2 members of the BZA whose terms would be coming to an end at the end of this month. I need to inquire separately with Mrs. Jablonski if she is interested in returning for another 2-year term. Kelly, you and I can speak about that separately.
Okay.
And then Ann Mannon has indicated that she is moving out of the city, so
Oh.
she will not be returning for another term. We will be advertising the fact that there is an opening on the BZA, and we'll be looking for a new member to join us. I thank Judge Mannon for her years of service on this board and to the city. We will miss her as a neighbor. I've known Ann since I worked at the Justice Center as a young lawyer. So I've enjoyed having this renewed opportunity to work with her again in these recent years, and we'll miss her presence and perspective on this board. The other thing I would like to bring up is we are expecting imminently a request for a special use permit from John Carroll University, which has some urgency, and we should want to meet in a special meeting prior to the next regularly scheduled meeting. The nature of this, even though the application has not yet been filed, relates to the use of the intramural fields and the stadium. By prior agreement with the city, the facilities are not to be used prior to March 1st of the year. There are specific periods of time when those facilities are traditionally used. It's been represented to me through representatives of John Carroll University that they're not looking for a permanent change, but rather a one-time special use permit to allow them to, due to the pandemic, make up the time for the fall sports this semester, starting next week, with practices and actual sporting events. which means that they would be using these facilities prior to March 1st. I support this because obviously this is a one-time thing. The regular season in the fall, nothing happened over there that normally would be happening during that time. And it is, they would not be looking to go later in the evening than they would during normal time. But the appropriate thing, rather than the city just saying, yeah, go ahead, would be to come before this body formally, allow any neighbors who have any concerns to be heard, et cetera, et cetera. So we are expecting something imminently. I would inquire your availability perhaps mid to late next week with respect to whether we could meet again, presuming that an application is imminent. This is something where perhaps Kelly could poll the body, or if we wanted to even come up with a date now, that might be helpful, provided the application is filed, in the next day or two.
And Mayor, I actually spoke with their general counsel yesterday. I anticipate that they will have no issue getting the application in post haste. I think they will probably be in touch with you today, Kelly, just to make sure that they're submitting what they need, but they're intending to get an application in fairly immediately.
So I'll poll the committee. If we met a week from today at the same time on January 20th at 8:00 a.m., is everyone available?
Yeah, so we have to actually give 7 weeks. So
7 days.
or I'm sorry, 7 days. So we could meet, Wednesday at noon or Wednesday in the evening. We just have to give that 7 week, or I'm sorry, that
7 days.
notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it counts the day if we started with today, but that's okay if I'm wrong. Should we go back add one more day just to be careful to go to Thursday, January 21st?
That would be my preference.
Oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm not available at 8 a.m. How about, so you said noon on the 20th would work?
Mhm.
Does that work for all the committee?
Works for me.
Okay, so we'll tentatively say that we are available to hold a special meeting on noon of January 20th to consider an application by John Carroll.
Does anyone have any objections to that time? I don't know. Is that inauguration day? Is that something that people want? So
Yeah, you might not want to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
At that time anyway, that hour and a half is.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
That was-
No, good call, Matt.
You could
3
do-
o'clock.
I mean, because none of us are invited to any inaugural balls.
Yeah.
3 o'clock would be fine.
Okay. I have a conflict at 3 o'clock. I don't know that you need me though, so that may not be.
We'll hold this as a tentative, and whatever works best for John Carroll, we'll make ourselves as flexibly available as possible.
For purposes of the record, Mayor, I will articulate the city's position.
Okay.
So that board members and anyone else from the neighborhood who might attend are aware that the city is in support of the request.
Okay.
Do we want to pick a second day just to be on the safe side, since we're all here?
Why don't we say the 21st at 3 o'clock would be the backup?
And how are neighbors notified?
Via mail.
Okay.
And with the way the mail is
They might
now,
not get it.
we may
Exactly.
not get it till
Right, I'm
afterwards.
concerned about that.
Maybe,
Well,
We can hand deliver.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
hand-
I was just going to say, we
the
should
rule
send,
is 100 feet. That's by code. Now, we typically try to expand that radius But we will need to hand deliver these today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Mhm. If I may I suggest that we simply go with the Thursday at 3 PM as our first date? Just keep it away from the inauguration, and it also prevents us from running into a 7-day problem if we don't deliver the notices before 3 PM today?
Sure.
Okay.
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 All right, then that gives us
Um,
to get those together and to get some city groups out to hand deliver those.
I want to also add to what the mayor said regarding Judge Mannon and to thank her for her service on the Board of Zoning Appeal and her service to the city of University Heights. It has been an honor to serve with her. She's been a valuable member. And I encourage, if anyone has friends or neighbors who they think would be valuable for the Board of Zoning Appeal or any other position in University Heights, to please pursue those applications, and they'll be processed in the ordinary course. Mayor, you don't have any information regarding vaccines in University Heights at all, do you?
No, nothing different than what the governor and the county board of health has already issued with regard to if you are in the 1A group, to go ahead and sign up, and then you know, those of us in 1B, you know, or there's a schedule that's being deployed. We're going to be putting out an At Your Service newsletter that will go over all that for folks, but no special information. If you go to ccbh.org/vax, there is the sign up if you're eligible at this point to be vaccinated.
Yeah, the 1Bs can sign up for notice information now as well on that same site.
Yes, then that's what we have.
Yeah, there's I think 10 categories that are available. You add your email and your phone contact information. If you have any elderly relatives, by the way, also you can sign up for them too in order to get notifications for them as well.
Yeah, there are age brackets that will be descending over time with respect to when you can sign up. So,
well,
and I would be remiss, because I have not spoken separately with Kelly Jablonski. If you, in the event that you are deciding that this month will be the final month of your term, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for your service as well.
I'll stay on. That's fine.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I will.
Good. Well, I thank you for your services and your continued service then.
Well, thank you.
We'll be delighted
Thank
to
you, Kelly.
name forward again before the council. Okay.
Mayor, we had previously indicated, let's go off the record for 1 second. We had previously indicated that business before this committee today.
Luke, has there been any movement on the Tyndall property for the Airbnb? I think the last we talked, it was maybe that there was a visit from the building department might be in order, or what was decided?
Yeah, there has not been any follow-up on the Tyndall property. I mean, among other things, our building department is a little bit stressed right now. So let me circle back with the mayor on that issue, and perhaps have something to report for you at the next regular meeting.
Thanks.
Yes, just to a couple of administrative matters with respect to that. We have had job postings for chief building official and for building inspectors posted since October. The applicant pool is very thin of who's available and interested in applying. We have had some talks with some folks who have applied. That is ongoing. We and that relates in part to the work of the department. We've had a bit of a house cleaning with respect to our administrative assistants. We have 2 new administrative assistants who have hit the ground running and are doing some great work for us, but there is, no matter how good you are, there is still a learning curve. So they are making great strides in a short time. And finally, in October, I had reassigned our city planner, Brendan Zach, to assist in the transition over in the building and housing departments. And last week, I named him formally the interim manager of the building, housing and community development departments to give him the authority to make certain decisions and hold himself out to the community as the interim head of the department. So there are changes afoot, and there's progress being made. We continue to be in talks with possible new chief building officials on a couple of different avenues, and there should be some announcements coming up on that, hopefully soon.
Okay. Hearing no further matters, and with thanks to Kelly for renewing her position on the Board of Zoning Appeal, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Jablonski,
Aye.
Mr. Goodman,
Aye.
Mr. Jaffe,
Aye.
Mr. Califf.
Aye.
Everybody be well, stay healthy, and good luck getting vaccines as soon as possible.
See you next week.
Have a great day.
Next one.